Well, New Zealand's newest professional sporting franchise was officially born on Thursday. Auckland FC will join the A-League men's in the 2024-25 season, the A-League women's the season afterwards. Great pleasure to welcome to the studio two of the busiest men going around Auckland in the last week. CEO of the football club, Nick Becker. Great to see you, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Good to see you, mate.
And head coach, Steve Corica. How are you, Steve?
Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. Well, how did it feel on Thursday, Nick, to get the club officially launched, born? It's out there now. It's a thing. How did that feel?
Oh, it's an awesome feeling. You know, we've only been around for 4 months, and this is just a real good momentous moment in our kind of existence, I guess. Really positive response from everyone. Local clubs all got behind us, which is fantastic. You know, one of the things we want to do is embed in the community. Really important to us. Response from media, response from fans. It's been brilliant. We've pre-sold a huge number of jerseys already. And we've had inquiries about membership for next season coming through. So, really positive and really happy about how we went.
And, Steve, for you, it's, I guess, a bit different in that it's a startup. You were so deeply involved with Sydney FC, I guess, as a player when it started. But as a coach at the head of a startup club, how's this experience been for you?
Yeah, it's been obviously very exciting. Yesterday was fantastic. Obviously, the colours of the club as well are tremendous. I'm looking forward to playing in that kit. It's, I started at Sydney FC as a player. I sort of know what to expect as a startup club for players. Now it's a little bit different on the other side as a coach. There's a lot more to do, I think, and to organise. But obviously the playing squad and the staff is the most important thing right now for us, and we'll keep working away at that each day.
Well, let's get onto that then. Our listeners will be very keen to know about the players they'll see in that. And I agree about the kit. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see that electric blue and black
popping out there.
Yeah, who's going to be wearing it? Where are you with your recruitment at the moment?
We're up to 9 players, which is on track right now. We expected that at this time of year. 7 of them are New Zealand based, New Zealand players, and the other 2 are from Australia. So a lot more work to do. Obviously, we'll bring in a few more Australians, and obviously we'll use the 5 foreigners as well. And obviously it's travelling along nicely at the moment. And we've got a little bit of work to do. Obviously, we want a squad of around 25, I'd say, with scholarship players involved in that. So lots still to do.
And in terms of announcing those players, have you got a timeline for when we might hear the first names?
Yeah, I think that's really up to Nick, but I think a lot of these players are still playing with clubs, and we've got to be respectful for them, to them and to the clubs. So I think further down the track that will be.
Yeah, as soon as we can, Piney. Yeah. We're really keen to get out there and start talking about the players, but given some of them are under contract, it's the best thing to do to wait.
So as far as you're concerned, Nick, I mean, you don't, obviously Steve's in charge of the playing group and the way the team plays, but what's your overall oversight with that? Do you give the tick to any player who is put across the desk? Steve makes a recommendation, I'd love to have this guy. Where do you fit into the overall picture?
We all work together, so it's a really good system actually. So we've got obviously Steve's, myself, and then there's Terry McFlynn, the director of football. Another guy, Doug Cause, who's our head of recruitment as well. So he looks at more of the analysis and the data behind the players. And then we all have a good conversation about it, and it's sort of a collective decision.
So your responsibility now that the club is launched, what will the next 6 months look like for you? What are the key things for you to look after?
For us, it's obviously supporting Steve and Terry and building out the rest of the team. We want to be in the community, so that's massive for us. Embedding ourselves genuinely in the community and creating partnerships. We've sort of gone out and we meet 2-3 clubs a week, and we're going to continue to do that and get those guys behind us, because there's about 40,000 kids playing this game in the Auckland region, right? And they're the kids we want to see in the stands supporting us as a team. So connecting with them is so important. Then the other side of it was we need some sponsors, right? So we're out there every day knocking on doors. I've got a great guy, Mike Higgins, who heads that up, and then we're bringing another guy his name's Omar Cruz, Piney. He's coming over from Vegas. And the guy's
Omar Cruz from Vegas.
Yeah, how good's that? And the guy's an absolute gun. I love him. He is super hungry to get over here and sort of get as many people behind our club. He's coming over with a lot of energy and a lot of ideas. And him and Mike are going to be lethal out there. They're going to be right weapons.
Oh, that's brilliant. Just back to the import spot you talked about, Steve. Having talked to the football staff at Wellington Phoenix, every day dozens and dozens of players are being pitched to them, whether they're in the market or not. Yeah. When you're in the market, how do you even start to delve into this enormous pile and find your nuggets?
Yeah, you have to filter through them all, obviously. We have a good relationship with Bournemouth, obviously, part of the family, and Hibs, and they've got great resources as well to help us out, and they've been fantastic. So, but, Terry and Doug and myself, we just go through them all and make sure that we get the right players that will fit into the style of play that we want at the right age. And obviously, we want great players to come here, but we also want good people as well to drive the culture that we want to set at the club.
Is it more likely that your import players will be attacking players?
Probably yes. There's definitely, probably a number 9 and maybe a winger in that. We're maybe looking at a number 6 as well and a central defender. So, we've got a few options and a lot of players obviously to go through.
Bill Foley's the owner. We've seen a lot of him since he was announced as the owner of what is now Auckland FC. What's he like?
Oh, he's a brilliant guy. He's a fantastic owner. He's so engaged in the club, but in a really in such a positive way. So we'll all talk to him 2 or 3 times a week, and he's ringing up. He's asking just how things are going. He's really interested in the players that we're looking at, how we're going on the sponsorship side. He reminds me pretty much every other day about getting out in the community. So that's something he's really passionate about, and that's something he's done across all of his teams as well. He set up that the Vegas Knights in 2017. And the first thing they did was get straight out into the community. And it's a model that works, right? He took ice hockey to the desert and has made it into a massive success. And we're just following that. It's a great model, and we're learning a lot from him.
The video message he sent, which was played at the launch, he talked about the Black Knights.
Yep.
The name of the team is Auckland FC, from
Yep.
what we were told yesterday.
Yeah.
How does the Black Knights, Auckland FC, what is the name of the team?
Nice and piney. It's Auckland FC, okay? That's definitely the name. The name of the team, we wanted something that locked us into Auckland. It anchors us here. It's a beautiful name, I think, in its simplicity. It's got great football heritage. But we've got an identity and we're building on something which is going to be pretty special, I think. We're going to have a great match day experience, for example. We've got real core values of community, developing talent, being a team that is all for Auckland. And those sort of values, the entertainment that we want to bring to our game, they're things that kind of speak to the Black Knights personality. And that kind of, it's a nod back to Bill in that sense. And Bill's super passionate about the Black Knights piece right from his days at university. And it's something that he kind of carries, and it's a sort of moniker for his sort of teams and his personality, and we're proud to have some of that in our team too.
So you think down the track people will say, I support the Black Knights, or I support Auckland FC, or will it be a mixture of both?
I'd love to see that. Yeah. It's for me, I'm not going to force it onto the fans. They make their own decisions anyway. If you try and force something on, it's just going to get kicked back in your face, right?
Yep.
So yeah, look, we're going to have the Black Knights involved in our team, and if people decide to get around it, then fantastic.
Kiwi players, Steve, how important to have a good core of good Kiwi players that the community can at least relate to it initially anyway?
Yeah, very important. I think that's one thing Bill said from the start. He wants a lot of Kiwi players in the squad, and obviously we want to do that. We want the people to get right behind them, and I think that's the way of doing it. But also, it's important that you get the mix right and a really nice blend of foreigners as well in that, and I think that's our aim to do that. We want to play some good attacking football. We want the crowd to get behind us and support us, so I think that's probably the best way to do it.
There are a lot of Kiwis playing around the world in a bunch of different leagues.
Yeah.
Some of them are getting good minutes, some of them not getting as many minutes as I suppose they would like. Do you see perhaps that there is an opportunity for you to, and I'm sure you have, to reach out to them and say, hey, come back here, get yourself re-established, play 27 games plus finals, and then if you want to go again, go again. Is that a kind of conversation you're having?
Definitely. I think any New Zealand player, I think we've either spoken to or, we know about now. So Terry McFlynn is constantly on his phone, so he's doing an amazing job. Yeah, definitely. There's players overseas that we will try and bring back. There's players in the local league as well that we would like to sign as well. So I think we'll have a good blend of New Zealand players. I'm heading over to Egypt now. It was supposed to be Abu Dhabi to watch the All Whites, but now it's Egypt. And with Terry, and if we get an opportunity to speak to some of them players, obviously we want to bring back some really good players, and the national team is a good way to start, and we'll go from there.
Just on the link with the community, Nick, rightly or wrongly, there's a perception in Wellington that the Phoenix have on occasion, and like I say, rightly or wrongly, the perception is they're poached the best players from local clubs.
Yeah.
Is that something you're conscious of of here in Auckland?
Yeah, we're really conscious, and it's also our model. Like I don't really know what Wellington do, but our model's slightly different to what you've described. Is we actually want to create those sort of partnerships with the clubs that have got academies, so they continue to develop the players. When the players are ready to take that step up, and if they are good enough to get into this, into our squad, they'll make the move then. But we want to develop them. We want to keep them with their clubs. We want them playing for their clubs in the weekend. We don't necessarily want to pluck them out and get them playing against their old club, because that can kind of cause all sorts of issues. But you also have to wait till the player's right. Mentally, physically, they have to be in the right space to come through and come into our squad.
Ali Williams and Anna Mowbray were there at the launch on Thursday. Bit of A-list glitz and glamour. They're obviously they're obviously invested in the football club. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, no, we've been talking to Anna and Ali for a long time now, and they've officially come on as part of the club. It's super exciting. They bring a wealth of obviously sporting excellence, and then also experience in business. They're really well connected in Auckland, so they're the perfect partners for us.
What does on-field success look like in season 1, Steve?
Yeah, good question. I think just speaking to Bill, he's an ambitious guy. He wants to win. That's the aim. So for me, it's no different. I've been at a club that has been very successful and wanting to win every year. And even though we're starting out next season, there's no reason why we can't do it. We'll bring in the right players to give us the best opportunity, but at some stage we want to win, and whether that's in year 1, year 2, year 3, the aim is to win, I suppose, as soon as possible.
Is it hard to be aggressively patient?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually trading on July 1st, getting all the players in, and I think that'll be another milestone, and obviously the first game of the season I think will be amazing as well.
You've been involved in Sydney derbies as well, and at their peak, the Sydney FC Western Sydney derbies were just magnificent.
Yeah.
What are you hoping for both of you? What are you hoping for on the field for a New Zealand derby first of all, Steve?
Exactly that. I think a massive crowd I think really makes the derby as well. That's probably the first game you look at once the draw's out as well to see when the derby is. Obviously a little bit different to me this time round with the Wellington Auckland derby, but I think it's going to be spectacular as well, whether it's at home or away. I think these derbies are really what make football, and both sets of crowds get behind their team, and it makes it something special. Yeah, and Nick, I presume you're keen to pursue a storyline of a derby, a rivalry between Auckland and Wellington.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just going to happen naturally. And these things, you want them to be authentic, but it's already started, right? So there's already chat amongst our fan group. We're just growing our fan group, right? And they're already fired up for this derby. So, I think it's going to be a really exciting match. It's a special match. It's what football's about, right? And it brings joy, and you want to have a real kind of good fight on your hands.
All right, what are we now? Mid-March. Good enough time, Steve? You got enough time? October's going to roll around quite quick, mate. It will. July is actually even quicker. So, I think we're on track at the moment. So, we'll have time. And your priorities from here, Nick? Immediately, you've obviously talked about having, you've got to have backroom staff as well. Office staff. Is that your priority as from now?
Yeah, right away, building out the team. So we're in the market right now for a head of marketing, head of consumer business who'll look after that ticketing side. We want to grow that team quickly. We want to be out there and really kind of talking about what we're going to be doing. I've been so amazed by the response for the jersey just over the last 24 hours. But just in general, the positivity out there. And so we need to really tap into that and make the most of it. Well, it's an exciting day, not just for football in this country, for sport in this country, and for what this club will undoubtedly become. Great to be there at the launch. Great to have you guys in studio today. All the best. Can't wait for July the 1st. I can't actually wait for the player announcements to start with, who's going to be wearing this shirt. But look, great to see you both, and look forward to catching up again soon. Nice one, Potty. Thank you. Thanks, Cheers, mate.